Here's something nobody at a dinner party will ever ask a single woman. Not her friends, not her coworkers, not even her closest family members. The question sits right there, obvious, biological, undeniable, and yet it stays buried under polite conversation about careers and travel and personal growth. The question is this: what is she actually doing with her sexuality when no partner exists? And before you dismiss that as inappropriate, stop. Because the silence around this question isn't protecting anyone. It's creating a hidden landscape that shapes how women think, how they behave, and who they become after years of being alone. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. Not to judge, not to shame, but because the truth, the real, unfiltered truth, is far more complex, far more human, and far more important than the version society pretends exists. If you've ever tried to understand the woman who's been single for years, this will change how you see her completely. Let's start with biology because that's where this story actually begins. Human beings are wired for physical connection, not metaphorically, chemically. Intimacy releases oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins. These aren't luxury chemicals. They regulate mood, reduce stress, and stabilize emotional baseline. When that chemical pipeline gets cut off, for months, for years, something shifts. The woman without a partner doesn't become asexual. She becomes a sexual person navigating the absence of her natural outlet. And that navigation plays out in ways most people never examine. Why do women end up in long-term singleness in the first place? The paths are different, but they're all real. Some women operate on a transactional mindset. Intimacy must be earned, requirements must be met, standards must be matched. The problem? The bar keeps rising, and the men capable of meeting it eventually stop trying. She stays single not because good men don't exist, but because her framework repels them. Other women carry invisible wounds. Past trauma, whether from a father who disappeared, a relationship that destroyed her, or an experience that left permanent marks, creates a protective system that blocks new connections. Her mind might recognize safety. Her nervous system doesn't. She wants partnership and simultaneously prevents it. Both things are true at once. Then there's the category that rarely gets named honestly. The woman whose standards are frozen in the past. She's 42, comparing every man to what she could attract at 24. The market changed. Her expectations didn't. She keeps rejecting available, genuine options while waiting for a version of reality that no longer exists. And finally, the woman who genuinely chose to delay. Career, recovery, healing. She's not stuck. She's strategic. Her relationship to singleness is completely different from the others. Now here's where it gets real. Regardless of why a woman is single, what happens to her while she's single is the part that nobody discusses. The emotional effects are gradual, but measurable. Irritability increases. Patience thins. Emotional volatility rises, and she often doesn't connect it to physical absence. She attributes it to work stress, to external circumstances, to everything except the actual source. The self-esteem effects are the most visible. A woman who hasn't been desired in years starts questioning whether she is desirable. The questioning becomes doubt. The doubt becomes belief. And that belief rewrites how she carries herself, which rewrites how others respond to her, which confirms the original belief. The cycle feeds itself. So what does she actually do about it? Women develop 3 primary strategies, and each one leaves a trace. Strategy 1, the casual arrangement. Some women make a clean separation between physical needs and emotional needs. They find connections that address the body without requiring the vulnerability of partnership. No commitments, no labels, just a conscious decision that one need doesn't have to wait for the other to be solved. The psychology here varies dramatically. Some women compartmentalize successfully. Others develop unexpected emotions that the arrangement was specifically designed to prevent. And almost universally, this history gets buried when serious partnership eventually arrives. The new partner gets a sanitized version of years that were actually full of choices. Strategy 2, private self-sufficiency. The most common, most private response. Masturbation, with or without devices, with or without visual content, becomes the primary management tool. No complications. No other people. The tension gets released on her own terms. But there's a hidden cost that doesn't get discussed. The patterns established alone don't automatically transfer to partnered intimacy. Her body calibrates to her own touch. Responding to another person, especially one she cares about, requires a rewiring that doesn't happen automatically. Strategy 3. Redirection. Some women don't satisfy the drive. They convert it into career ambition, into physical fitness, into creative work, into spiritual practice. Sexual energy, when not discharged sexually, produces general activation. That activation can be applied. Historically, the most driven, most creative, most spiritually intense people in human history understood this mechanism. But there's a warning buried here too. The woman who becomes expert at redirecting intimacy energy may, over time, lose access to it entirely. She enters a relationship genuinely wanting connection and discovers that the pathway to vulnerability has been so effectively closed that reopening it takes real work. Here's the insight that ties this together. The strategies a woman used to survive her singleness don't automatically disappear when partnership becomes available. The woman who compartmentalized for years may compartmentalize with you. The woman who's self-conditioned alone may struggle to respond to your presence. The woman who's sublimated effectively may need real time to reopen what she learned to close. This isn't a reason to run. It's a reason to understand. History isn't the problem. How integrated that history is, that's what matters. The woman who has genuinely processed her years alone, who can speak about that period with honesty, with curiosity about what it taught her, without deflection or collapse, that woman has converted difficulty into depth. She's more self-aware. She understands her own patterns. She knows what she needs. The woman who cannot discuss those years, who performs as though singleness produced no challenge, no adaptation, no cost, is signaling something. Either she hasn't processed it, or she's concealing it. Neither is a good foundation for genuine intimacy. The framing she adopted also matters. If all men are the problem, who does that belief protect? Who does it cost? If relationships are traps, what does she gain for believing that? What does she avoid? Protective beliefs serve a function, but beliefs designed to protect from pain also protect from the resolution of that pain. The defense that made survival tolerable often becomes the barrier to something better. The practical test is simple. Does she have insight about her period of singleness? Can she name what she learned, what it cost her, what she would do differently? That level of reflection is the difference between a person carrying their history and a person transformed by it. Here's what this all comes down to. Modern dating has created conditions where millions of women spend years, sometimes decades, navigating sexuality without partnership. This isn't a fringe situation. It's the norm. And the strategies that emerge from those years leave real marks. The woman you're encountering after years of singleness isn't a blank slate. She's someone who faced a genuine human challenge and found a way through it. The question worth asking isn't whether she has history. Everyone has history. The question is what that history produced. Growth or damage. Integration or fragmentation. Readiness or patterns that need unpacking before real connection becomes possible. Curiosity serves better than judgment here. The woman who survived years alone with her psychology intact, who processed what she went through, who shows up with self-awareness rather than defensiveness. That's someone who did the hard work. And the hard work always shows. The silence around these topics hasn't protected anyone. It's just kept people from having the conversations that might actually help them understand each other. The reality persists whether we discuss it or not. So we may as well start discussing it honestly.